We are postponing the conference number 1 for 15. So for today, what I'm expecting is you guys go downstairs in the lab and keep practicing. I'm going to tell you which tooth you're going to have to be prepping before the competency, what kind of isolation you're going to be needed for that tooth. But I won't tell you which tooth we are going to pick for the preparation. As you probably know, we have one tooth restoration, another one for prep. Okay? So please disregard this schedule that you have on Canvas right now. So just please replace the competence 1 for a catch-up period right here on October the 8th. And next week, competence 1. Unfortunately, there is not a new competence number 2, which is coming up, beginning up in November. Okay, so once we are done with competence number 1, that's going to be on the 15th, we only have 2 extra sessions for before the competence number 2. Get ready. This is going to be a rough ride. I'm sorry, that's not how we can do it because EDR is so condensed into a very short course. But the good news is, based on feedback from faculty, based on things that I'm seeing in the lab, I think you guys are pretty good. I think you guys are doing absolutely fantastic in terms of prepping, in terms of building. I don't see a problem, right? And after that, we do have the final exam. And remember, these are 2 different courses. This is the lecture, the didactic course, and this is the lab course. Any questions so far? Are we good? Okay. So for today also, once you finish the training, whatever, for the accountancy, I want you guys to keep working on your projects, and remember that we have to finish the projects before the competency number 2, not before competency number 1. Just clarify that. So at the end of this semester here, I want all the projects to be completed. By the way, I still don't have reports for everyone from project number 5. I'm missing reports from about 11 students. So you might get an email just to remind you to bring or to send me your files. My apologies if you submitted already and got lost, or I checked my spam box and it's not. Okay, so if you get any mail already submitted, my apologies. Just please resubmit it, and we can be good. Okay. And again, going back to the projects for today, would be amazing if you guys could finish the project number 7, which is a huge prep, is an MODL prep on tooth number 15. And after that, and this tooth, by the way, you can restore. Feel free to use amalgam. So I want you to have the experience and working the lingual extension of tooth when you're doing amalgam restoration. Now the project number 8, that's a huge destruction on the tooth, all right? This project, I'm gonna just do like similar to last year. So this project is optional. Why? Because you're not going to restore this tooth with amalgam. There's no way you can restore this with amalgam without putting extra retention features there. And nowadays we completely stop teaching those things because number 1, they're too aggressive. Number 2, they won't provide a very good longevity on these restoration techniques. And number 3 reason is because composite is really good nowadays, even compared to amalgam. So in a tooth like this, by the way, you should be doing crowns, not really restoration, right? If you have the time, I want you guys to practice a little bit with composite. You're going to put a major expand, and we're going to play composite a little bit. Just a practice for next year with Dr. Asaf's course. Don't put amalgam on project number 8. If you want to prep, that's good. If you don't want to prep, that's optional. If you prefer to just catch up other projects, that's absolutely okay. Keep in mind, this is the only project that is optional. I don't need a signature on your report. Everything else, yes, I do need a signature, and I need your name in one of the reports in project number 5. Okay? Also, keep in mind that starting the week after the competency, I will touch base with you with inlays and onlays. And then comes project number 9 and project number 10. But again, these projects are also prepping only. They're not really restoring because we don't have any CAD machine for you guys to use. It's coming out. Just to summarize, project 9 is similar to project number 12, which was in MOD, right? So project 9 is an inlay prep, which is number 5. And project 10 is a huge MODL on tooth number 30. All right, questions so far? Which one is the only optional project? 8. No signature required. Got it? Yeah. Yes, we are kind of simulating that patient cannot afford indirect restoration. So we have to put something there to restore the tooth and put the tooth back in function. But eventually this patient will be back to the chair to put an indirect restoration. That's 8 years. And even I'm doing actually similar procedures here. Because the patient is going to travel or something, I put just a provision on there. All right? It's a good way to practice your skills to put anatomy there and a matrix band and so on. All right? Okay. Moving forward. I got very good reports from project number 5. I just want to share with you some of the pictures that I got. Again, every year I'm learning a lot. I'm not going to share your picture today, not yet. But I want to share with you some of the pictures I got from the reports itself. So, if you look here, you're going to see lots and lots of old fillings, lots and lots of staining. And one thing that probably you guys notice is that the lack of proper condensing on the amalgam, a lack of adaptation on the margins. You see all the margins pretty much open. And that's the kind of thing that I want to discuss with you. Like, you look at the restoration on the right side here. Immediately I notice, I'm sorry, I don't have a laser point, but do you see a crack on the distal marginal ridge? Remember we talked about that? You know, when you don't have enough structure left there, you're not respecting the resistance form, that is lack of denting, eventually that amalgam will crack, particularly with amalgam. That won't happen with composite. So here, that's interesting. They remove half of the tooth and cursor right here. You can see staining all over the place underneath the restoration. That's pretty significant. Some of the reports are actually amazing, like reading notes on top of the picture there. I don't know how to do that. Let me do the good job, okay? So as you can see here, so you see a bunch of small little decays on the amalgam restoration, hypomineralization. That's really good. Incipient decay going on there. And immediately you see like a staining all over the denting surface. That means this is tertiary denting. Remember we discussed about that? So when the tooth is erupted and is in the mouth, is in function, we do have secondary denting everywhere. Because we have this tooth is exposed to chewing forces, to thermal changes, and a bunch of other things that eventually is going to change a primary denting to a secondary denting. Now, once it's in function, but we have a decay in place or a more aggressive pattern of pathology going on, like decay, then the secondary denting becomes a tertiary denting. And that's exactly what you see in this picture here and a bunch of others that I showed you, right? Clinically speaking, guys, don't look at tooth like this one and say like, oh, I have decay here. Most of the cases, you have to look at the adjacent dentition and see if you have decay or not. But most of the cases, sometimes you have aggressive decay. That means it's soft only on the most in the lower portion, but once you clean it up, you provide just like with prophylactic brush and pumice. You remove all the debris, suddenly everything is harder than you. You don't have to touch it. Don't drill a cavity there. So you guys have been working with sealants a lot, right? Probably this is the scenario that you see a lot happening. I also really like this picture here showing a huge decay underneath the enamel. And even some of the reports for the Parmesan cheese idea, I love that. That's good. That's a good way to do it, right? Okay. You see that in clinic, and sometimes the smell is not pretty. It comes like from the leading patient. All right. Nice job here. Sometimes you also see restorations, and by the way, I'm going to load this file for you. When I like to, when I like to see it, when I cut the tooth in half, I like to see the cavity preparation. I pay attention to that a lot because, as I told you before, I really want to prep my tooth in perfect shape, perfect weight. And you look at this class 1 prep here. Oops. And you see the floor kind of like a wavy floor, right? It's so irregular, so rough. And as I mentioned to you before, this is a lack of attention from the dentist. I'm not judging the job. I don't know what conditions the student was prepped. Sometimes it was like in a location that it had no clue or no ways to provide it, like using a brand new course, stuff like that. But I do pay attention, and I kind of like put a red flag for my students, like careful with that. This is going to compromise the longevity, right? And most of the teeth that you cut in half and you see a lot of staining underneath is what? Because what is happening there? Is a lack of what?
Insulation.
Remember last lecture, we were talking about liners, bases, and sealers, right? So lack of adhesive or even a varnish underneath the restoration. Very nice job here too. You can see enamel, you see decay, and I saw students use the slow speed a lot. They use the spoon excavator, having the feeling of removing decay. And I say decay is like denting decay. Because for sealants, you guys are using just high speed, right? Look at this picture here. They found lots and lots of the Parmesan cheese, and using the, by the way, the spoon excavator, you guys have it is huge. It's way too big. Forget it. This is only like good for dinosaurs. For small cavities, remember the convenience form. All we have to do is just remove them supporting enamel and have access to the cavity. But eventually, you're going to need a very tiny, small exploder just to see if you still have it here or not. The exploder, not the cavity, the spoon excavator, sorry. The spoon excavator is also the instrument of choice to have that kind of sound from the dentin when you completely remove the cave. Remember the sound that probably you checked it last week or the week before. Very nice picture here, cutting the tooth in half. By the way, look at this, the color and all these staining margins on this amalgam restoration. Very poorly carved. I don't see anatomy in there. You can probably see lots of the small little gaps surrounding the margins. Even like the bluey staining, almost like a bluey staining on the enamel, the lack of sealant placed before putting the amalgam restoration. And if you pay attention underneath the amalgam, you see kind of like a very, it looks like a wave of, like a ray of like staining going towards the amalgam restoration. It's so beautiful sometimes. You see that the pulp was doing a terrific job. It was pumping enamel and closing all the vein tubes towards that direction. Some students, they found root decay, and that's quite interesting. We didn't discuss here root decay, right? But what is the best treatment option for root decay? Any idea? Should you replace amalgam there? Should you replace composite there? Sealant? That's one of the toughest kind of cavity that you can see in clinic. I just had a student yesterday on the HB came in and talked to me about patients with multiple root decay cavities. This kind of problem is usually associated with periodontal conditions because we have sometimes a recession on top of the equation here. But the sad news and the sad solution for this case is that we don't really have on the market a good restorative material for root decay. Eventually, these teeth will have to be extracted. That's exactly what happened. Number one, you don't have access to remove properly all the decay. Number two, there is no restorative option in terms of material that you can put in place there. Yes, we can try putting something like Jerstone and glass ionomer based material. It might work for a few years, who knows, sometimes like 5 or 10 years, but the longevity is going to be really, really compromised. Good job. Even like they cut in the tooth here, and you can see the Parmesan cheese. Look at the size of the extension of the Parmesan cheese. Can you see like a kind of triangular shape? Yeah. Very good job here. Actually, sometimes I take all these pictures and I show with my patient. I share with my patients to explain like what is a wood decay, why do I have to extract the tooth, you know? Another very good picture here is this is a composite restoration, and this composite is showing us a lot of things. Number one, I can see completely lack of anatomy. Why? Because people are still doing composites the way they think they should do. There is no respect in resistance form, retention form. You're just like packing composite inside of it, and that's it. Dismiss the patient because I have another one waiting for me. That's the result. Another thing that this picture is showing me is like, look at all the marginal micro leakage happening in the interface between the tooth and the restorative material. Remember that composite is mandatory to do etching and bonding, and still you have all these staining here. That's bad. Do you really think this composite was placed under proper isolation? No way. By the way, this tooth was extracted, and you see huge cavities on the interproximal area. Interproximal areas, they are the #1 locations for recurrent decay when it comes to bad, properly placed restoration, composite or not. You see patients in clinic in a few months. That's the #1 location, and once you take an X-ray, boom, the proximal area is infected. And look at the size of this class 2 here. So the student ended up cutting the tooth in half, and looking at both meso and distal side. This is the perfect scenario to practice removing decay, at least in vitro, okay, not in vivo, here in the lab. Another very nice picture using the perfectly choice here, like a very big round burr in order to remove the Parmesan cheese. You guys were also able to look at different structures like enamel, denting. Hopefully you had the feeling of, see the difference between cutting enamel and denting there. So this is actually completely different structure. Another root decay area. Look at the extent of this root decay area here. And the huge Parmesan cheese. I love this. Is actually more like coconut.
Why does it have to be
What I like in this picture is that sometimes you look at the occlusal surface in a patient in the chair, so like, I don't think there's decay here. And take an X-ray, there is nothing there. By the way, occlusal decay is very hard to see on X-ray, because once you can see it, be careful. Get ready for liners and babies. That thing is going to be huge, huge. Sometimes you don't see nothing, but that's one of the big advantages of putting isolation and proper illumination, because once you can drive the surface, you see things like this. You see like a very small little enamel area here, and I guarantee that once you cut this tooth in half, eventually there's a huge cavity underneath. Sometimes that won't show on the X-ray. This is a report that said that this was a huge glass ionomer underneath the amalgam. I don't know who did that. If you're responsible for this picture, can you give me some insight here, some input? Was really a base underneath the amalgam? It was a report with like a green background. I'm sorry, I don't have the name. Anyone? It's fine. Another good picture showing interproximal decay. And then they put like a clean decay, which is not true. Sometimes, by the way, the report is good, but because they don't have experience yet. Once you remove all the decay, you're so concentrated to the dentin, right? You don't pay attention to the surrounding areas. And this is actually was the tip I got from a professor back then. It's like, always pay attention on the interface between enamel and dentin. It's always a leftover of decay right there. And that's a perfect scenario for a recurrent decay, although we are 100% thinking that you remove the whole thing. This was probably very solid dentin, solid enamel, but look right in between. This is probably still decay. How do we prevent that? Switch your high speed for a slow speed, a very tiny, small round burr, and just excavate the interface between enamel and dentin. You won't go too further, too deep, just like half an inch. Just to make sure you don't have it left over. Promise you're going to remember that. Make notes, okay? Staining on the interface and dentin enamel, most likely this is still decay. It is hard to tell because the area sometimes is so small. I'd rather remove it and put up something on that location afterwards. Another good tube here, huge occlusal cavity with extension towards the interproximal. Good job. Again, root decay. Lots of root decay this year. I don't know what happened. Last year I got lots and lots of composite restoration with proximal issue, but this year we got lots of root decay. I love this one. What a beautiful composite restoration, right? As I said before, people are just like closing holes, not doing restorations. Look at the surface of this composite here. But guys, I don't want to make fun of the procedure of the dentist. That's not my objective. My objective is to point to things that you have to pay attention to. The last thing I want is to see, a patient of yours coming to my chair and see things like that. Like, don't do it. It's just, if you just follow the protocol, you're going to avoid a lot of these things. A lot, like 95%. That's just. Look at the margins of this composite. You see all the margins pretty much open. In actually three main locations we have recurrent decay already. But even the surface of the composite is just like dirt. All we had like bubbles or voids in there, and there's main location out there. That's the result. Again, you can see the clear, good job that the pulp chamber was doing, pumping mineral and closing that location. Love this picture. Look at this. Underneath them alcohol staining as a tertiary ending. There is right in between there's nothing. It's pretty clear, right? Same thing with the proximal area. Obviously will be taken there. There we go. Questions about the pictures? All right. Let's switch topics. I'm going to upload this file for you so we have for you your records. Do you guys want all the PDFs? I can also do them. Yes? You want all of them? Is that okay? I'm not talking to you. See, she can't recognize my accent. She's better than you. No copyright issues. I'm going to share with you guys all these files. Now, we have competency 1 coming up next week. Although I said you guys are doing a terrific job, which is true, okay, I'm not trying to encourage you. Yes, I'm true also that, but you guys are doing great. But I don't know what happened every single year. I don't know if people are afraid of me or my face, but when they show up for the competency, they look exactly like that. And they do a job based on that face, okay? So usually competence 1 is a disgrace. I see like horrible preps, I see terrible feelings, like, what's going on? And some of the students, I know them because they were my group. It's like, you did a terrific job until last week. What happens? Like, oh, doctor, it's because this is an exam. Let's delete that. This is not an exam. It's just like a training. Just an exercise. It's just a competence. Yes, we have like a deadline, which is 4 p.m. But so what? Just put some music, relax. You know, I don't want to see that face next week. Because again, this is like a norm here. I see students freaking out for the conference. What's wrong with you? Come on. Number one thing, you guys had enough time to train. I trust your hands skills. You are ready for this, right? It's just a simple class 2 prep. It's going to be just number 1, MODL. No, just kidding.
I'm scared it's going to be
This is the face I want to see. I'm ready. Okay? Bring it on. You're number 1 MOD, I can do that.
We're just going to pull
At least I can try. Okay?
You turn it up too.
Now, these are the instructions for competency number 1 has to be. First of all, you have to bring 1 fractal tooth. And this tooth is going to be tooth number 19. Meso-occlusal. Dimensional-wise, you're going to copy exactly the same dimensions from project number 3, which is tooth number 31. That's on the contralateral area. Very, very simple prep. Okay? At the beginning of the competency, we're going to check and make sure that tooth number 19 is perfect and is stable, it's not loose. All right? Because you might have to put isolation on top of it. For isolation, you're going to put a clamp on tooth number 18, not before, but during the competency. During the competency, you have to place isolation, not before. You're going to clamp tooth number 18. I don't care if you have fillings on number 18. Okay, if you have a meso-occlusal, whatever, I don't care. Hopefully it doesn't want a crown prep on 18. Okay? Clamp number 18 all the way to the canine on the other side. So these are the perforations on the rubber dam. And then tooth number 19 is going to be isolated. Next, you're going to place the matrix band and a wedge. So 3 things you have to do it during the competency. Number 1 is place isolation. Number 2 is put a matrix band with the holder. And number 3, place a wedge. If you miss the wedge, you fail the competency. Immediately. And by the way, this is a competency. That's the bad part. You're not supposed to say anything. Because once you have the isolation in place, the matrix band and the wedge, you can raise your hand. One of the instructors will come to your station, check everything, and just put a note on your evaluation. You're not going to make absolutely any comment. It's up to you. Okay? We're going to check, normally what you check is make sure the isolation is stable, is centralized, is an essential area, it's not completely upside down. And the matrix band is stable, is not loose. And if you have enough wedge there to close the gingival cable surface margin. That's exactly what you're checking, nothing else. Dr. Roperto's scared already. Oh, we have today for practice. Okay? Put an isolation on number 19. I'm giving you the teeth already. Go downstairs, put a clamp, and isolate all these teeth. Put a matrix band and a wedge, and just call us. So, can you please check? This is what you want. Am I cool? Gonna be fine next week? That's what I want. You're good. You're good to go. Is that true, Mark? You have a question? Okay. So, once you get a check mark on your evaluation form, you're good to go. Put the restoration, then start carving, wait for the mouth to carve, remove the matrix band, check the proximal contact carefully, and you're ready to move to the preparation portion of your competency. So it is mandatory that we start by doing the restoration. Then you move to the preparation. So you have 1 p.m. all the way to 4 p.m. How do you manage your time? It's up to you. if you're doing this procedure, there is something wrong with the restoration, feel free to remove the restoration and do it again. I don't care. Because clinically, that's exactly what we do. And even on the boards, they can also do that. That's your time. But again, you have to manage the time you have available, because I don't want you to extend the restoration all the way to 3:30. It's like, oh, by the way, I have 30 minutes now to do the prep. You're going to fail. So if you're training enough today and during this week, especially during the weekends, your students, right? What are you doing Saturday night? Over here. Here we go. I will be here Saturday night with you. Yes, I have a 15-month-old at home. Okay, so feel free to remove the reservation and place a new one in case this is necessary. We're not going to give you feedback like, Dr. Roperto, can you check, is that good? Do you think this is good? Or do you think, well, I'm not going to say anything, forget it. All right? It's up to you. This is a conference. Once you're done with this, remove the isolation. Check the contacts again. Articulating paper, check the occlusion. If you need more adjustments, you can make it, and that's it. End of the story. Move to the other two. For the preparation, now is a surprise. And I'm going to tell you which tooth you are grabbing. Most likely number 2. I don't know. Okay? I usually pick the tooth on the day of the conference. And don't worry, it's not going to be too hard. Right? So I promise you. Forget about tooth number 1 in ODL. I like you guys. I don't want to see you fail during this conference. Right? So prepping a tooth, most likely these tooth will follow exactly the same dimensions compared to a project that you did before. And then comes the question, can I use the manual? Absolutely. I don't mind at all. Bring your manual. Bring your computer. Open the manual page that you think will be closer to that prep. Feel free to take a look at the dimensions. Once you're done with the prep, oh, by the way, before I go there, let's say something happens during the preparation. So like, oh, I completely destroyed the personal box. I'm sorry. You failed the conference. Or I was just using a hand instrument and I completely broke the one because I'm sorry. Can you replace the tooth? Absolutely not. Again, you're simulating clinic here. You don't do that in group patients. So you're not going to do that during the course. If you do a mistake in the prep, don't freak out. Finish your conference. Fill out the evaluation, self-evaluation form, and come and talk to me later on. We do have a solution for that at the end of the semester. Okay? Finish your prep. You're going to see a blue form on your desk, and that's a self-evaluation form. I want you guys to fill that out completely and truly. Put all the information in place there. Also, on top of that form, if you see some soft tissue damage on your typodonts, just make a note. If you want, you can call us, just double check that you don't have a damage there. Why? Because during the evaluation, when I checked if you made a mistake, ended up hitting the gingiva. Because it might cost you a few points at the end. So if you see a damage there, there's no way to replace the whole gingiva before, the soft tissue. Just make a note, you're going to check that, that's it, end of the story. Okay? We have today all the way through the week and during the weekend to practice for this. Another thing I want to make a comment here, please memorize that. Please, besides tooth number 19, we're going to be doing the filling. I don't care if tooth number 18 you have fillings in there. Tooth number 20, as long as you have the proximal distal marginal ridge in place, either with composite or not, whatever, I'm cool, I'm fine. And tooth number 18. But the remaining posterior quadrants on the other side, contralateral side, and on the upper arch, make sure you have all the posterior teeth intact. No failings, no cavities preparations, no crown preparation, nothing. If your patient is edentulous on the anterior area, put teeth in there. Make sure you have a complete typodon, a complete set. Dr. Roperto, I don't have teeth, I have to bite. This, your clock is ticking. I'm not gonna wait for you. You have until 4 to do so. Okay? Again, I'm telling you in advance. Don't make things towards the very last minute. Once you're done, the evaluation, self-evaluation form is done. Please leave at your station a mirror, an exploder, a piece of floors, and a piece of articulating paper. That's it. And you guys are back at 5:30 to pick it up, your stuff, including the typodons. Now I'm going to keep the typodons. Questions? You're first.
Yeah, so, quick question. Let's say we do a restoration, we feel okay about it, time's like, okay, it's time to move on. We do the prep, and then we have an hour and a half left. I'm like, oh, I want to retouch my preparation. Is that okay?
Your preparation or the
No,
restoration?
I'm sorry, the restoration.
The restoration.
We want to redo the restoration if we're not completely satisfied.
As long as you place the isolation again, and the matrix band again,
And do we need to call you guys over to double check that?
it's your time. I guarantee you will have that free amount of time to go back to the restoration. That's what I'm telling you. Do the restoration first, move to preparation next.
It's big, so I'm gonna go back and trash it.
$100 here. Next. More questions?
Maybe it's hard, but if I go out, let me get back the next day.
Next year.
It takes like 2 days.
Last year we had like 15, 20 questions.
Yeah.
One last thing I'll ask you. Please, please, make me proud.
Everyone said please.
I don't care what you do, honestly. But I do care about quality. I want to make sure that once you finish, you ought to. You guys have your master's degree last year, right? Because as you can see, this is all about last year, right? Make the crowd. You guys are doing great. I trust in you. Okay? I don't care about the feedback at the end of the semester. I do care about the feedback of your work. I see your typodons. And as a course director, I go over all the typodons, especially on the fact that you have questions about it. I'm the one on the second meeting. Okay? Let's do it right. Let's do it once. That's it. End of the story. Don't be afraid. Get ready. Okay? You guys have you have earned your degree already last year. Just put that stuff out of you and put forward that first. The prep is the worst part. Filling is kind of easy. Right? And, by the way, you also had an additional week for prepping that didn't happen last year. I know we had the issue with the matrix holder, but again, prepping is the main thing. Once you do like a few restoration classes when you get used to the matrix pen and the charging techniques, you're good. You're done. All right, guys. One more question.
Is there a rubric available?
Is there what?
Is there a rubric available?
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, thanks for asking that. This is the template. I'm sorry. My brain is just frozen. This is the template for the competency, by the way. That's exactly the grading template we use, going to use next week. And please feel free to download. I've just been upload this file for your campus. And feel free to download and see what exactly we are going to be grading, okay? Initially, we have to grade the restoration. So there is a faculty member checking restoration surface, the margin to occlusion, the margins on the mesial or distal box. This is just a template, okay? That's not the final one. So they have ideal, acceptable, minus, which is like clinically still acceptable, but we're going to lose some points. And once you get no acceptable, that's the worst case scenario. Okay? Anatomy, we're going to check anatomy, we're going to check proximal contact for the restoration, and the occlusion. Make sure you have some contacts on the articulating chamber there. This is the area that I mentioned to you, the tissue management. If you have any imperfections there, we're going to make a comment right on top of here. Infection control, if I see you that you're not wearing masks or gloves or protection glasses, might have a non-acceptable mark right here. Hopefully your station will be clean. This class is doing terrific on that. I have no questions about it. And your professionalism, that means you're actually putting through information on your self-evaluation. Okay? On the back of the form, you have the preparation grading. We are checking the external outline and the internal outline. So we're checking what is the isthmus distance. We are checking the nasal box or the distal box, facial lingual walls, mainly if you have divergence or convergence. You're also checking the gingival floor, then you're checking the depth in the occlusal and proximal boxes, and so on. This is important damage to gingiva or adjacent teeth. I'm sorry, it was not here. It was down here. And then your overall rating. If I'm not mistaken, the contents number 1 equals to 35% of the final grade. Is that correct? I think so. And then competence number 2 is 45%. The remaining percentage is the completion of the projects. Questions? That's the rubric you're asking about? Okay. Maybe available for you in a few minutes. Okay, guys? Let's go downstairs.